to Sunday school. Anyway, what we're going to do today is we're filming just for the sake of those people who aren't here so they can catch up. So we'll try not to be, we won't let it interrupt what we're doing, okay? So don't worry about it, guys. We won't talk. But anyway, we'll take you through what we're going to do, and I'll do it just for a little bit. So this is the front page of the assessment. All we want to do is task 1 today, and we're going to do task 2 as we go up the hill, and the collection and the recording of data, and then task 3, 4 and 5 you do in class. Okay? So what it means basically is you set everything up on this bit here. So I guess it all comes down to today and how you set your project up, so what you need to do. Let's get on with it anyway. Task 1, because you don't want to muck around too long. As a group, you need to complete the activities below and hand in for checking to your teacher. So me and Mr. Kester are going to sign at the bottom. If you haven't got a sign, you can't go and do your research. You can't leave this table till you do. Okay?
Yeah.
So anyway, this has got to be handed in. So we can do a rough copy of this stuff today, but you can redo it or you can add bits to it. Okay, so if you want to fix it up, but we always want to get the rough bit done today. And everyone in the group can have exactly the same answers of this, and everyone in the group can have exactly the same analysing and presenting, but the geographic ideas and the evaluation might be a little bit different. Okay, so for the first one is a key the topic. What do you reckon your topic might be? And you probably put Helicopter Hill on this. What do you reckon you might look out on helicopter?
South Island High Country.
Okay, so you're looking at South Island High Country. Okay, no, you don't have, no, you don't have to have education on it. What do you reckon you might look at on Helicopter Hill?
Vegetation.
Okay, vegetation, relief, climate. What's all that called? Because you did those things, eh? It was. Did you have that made up a natural landscape?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So would you say how would the natural landscape change on Helicopter Hill?
Oh.
That's fair to say.
Yeah, I would say that's a good one, eh, Tahu? Do you want to say it again so it didn't sound like it came from me?
No, I actually forgot what you said. But
So what were those things? Vegetation, soil, climate,
the
natural landscapes
on Helicopter Hill.
on Helicopter Hill.
Oh, what's so?
How does that sound?
Natural landscape.
You can do your own one if you want to.
Is this the topic?
Yeah, this is the topic.
No, this is the question. No, it doesn't even look like. Maybe that's landing pad.
It's where they first made the first helicopter.
Really?
Out of sticks and trees and.
Stop me!
You know the thing on Monterosi, that's the first helicopter.
Pardon? After that, what is it called? Singing Village? Castle Village. You're never going to believe me.
Yeah, I know, crushed. So, take us through. You've got how many spaces there for key questions?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4. How many elements make up a...
4.
4.
1 question per element.
So that's what I would say, because what do you reckon you're going to see as you go up the hill?
Relief.
Okay, so relief is always going to change, eh? So something's going to happen. As you go up the hill, you're going to have something that's going to... you're going to have one element or aspect, eh? Did you draw that table when you did the South Island, when you did the Amazon, and you had how one element, like relief, impacts on vegetation, and vegetation impacts on soil, and they all kind of work in together, eh?
Yeah.
And so as we go up the hill there, what we're hoping is if we study those 4 elements, we would see how these things are kind of interacting. And so hopefully we would see that happens. So in other words, if the trees change, that would cause a change in soil, and it might have a change in climate, or it might have a change in all those sorts of things, eh? So for this one here, for your key questions, what do you reckon you could do for a key question?
Does vegetation change?
Does cool. That's a good one. Does vegetation? How does vegetation change? Good stuff, Sarah. What would be another one along that same line?
Same thing.
How does
Relief
change? Say it, Marley, because it's a very good question.
Say it.
Doesn't the relief could just be the different height, eh? So relief is the height or shape of the land. Let's call that the height of the land. What's this third question then, if you've got vegetation and relief? Climate? Good stuff. And someone can probably guess what your fourth question is going to be, eh?
Soil.
Yeah. Four elements? Pretty straightforward, eh?
Are those all 4 separate questions?
Yep.
Okay.
So where could you obtain this information?
Helicopter hill.
Yeah. How many times would you want to stop?
4.
4?
4 plus.
Or more?
Okay. 4
As
or 5?
many as we need.
Okay.
8.
Cool.
You got it? How will you obtain the 5 locations? You got that?
Where can I obtain?
How can you... Yep, Helicopter Hill, 5 different locations.
Helicopter hill.
Oh, how many stops are we making?
Rima.
5 different stops. We write 5 different stops.
It's everything that was in there, sir, so
Perfect.
some instructions there. And
We had one working thermometer, right?
yep, there's one in there.
Let's try and find it.
I don't know if it's in the bag, it might just be in the...
I love that one.
Scared me, I was like,
I love when people get fries, it's so funny.
How hot do you reckon it is in here at the moment?
20 degrees. Oh, well,
Sorry for that.
what, in this room?
Yeah, how hot do you reckon it would be in here at the moment?
It's above 20.
It's about, do you reckon it'd be 25?
Oh, there it is.
20.
No, did you
It's
yeah.
above.
We're just calibrating. Has anyone got an app on the phone?
I do, because I know it's
What in your fridge is tough?
Let's see if we can calibrate another one.
Because you took his.
Okay, so what we're going to do, has everyone got those bits finished?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So the method, how are you going to collect this information? Do you want to do some suggestions or do you want to handle that?
Hand.
Okay, which one do you want to do first?
Thermometer.
Thermometer for which one?
Climate.
Climate.
Good stuff.
Would you use like a...
Thermometer.
What's this thing here? Can you remember from the beach?
Yes,
The weather, the wind.
Richter scale.
Not the one, not that one. Let's pass it around so you can get the name of it. It is the...
Beaufort.
Yeah.
The what?
Yeah, I'm the man.
Can someone who went to the beach tell us what that does?
It measures how strong the air is.
How strong the wind is, eh? Cool. So we've got 2 measurements there for climate. What's it called again?
Beaufort scale.
Yeah.
This what? The
E. Jason, have you got a copy there that you can copy?
It's right there. So what is this scale for?
Climate.
Oh. I thought the thermometer.
Yeah,
We had
thermometer.
2 for climate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's another? How else could you measure? Is there any way you can measure anything else on there? What about soil?
Yeah.
Okay, you go. Sorry.
Density.
What could you do for anything else?
Some of you were talking about it in class.
say pH
The what?
scale.
The height.
She
Oh,
said
that
that
thingy.
Is
How could you do the
God.
height?
That blue guy thing.
This is a tricky one.
The tape.
What's it called?
So what could you do? Okay, that one's really gone. But this one here. So this tells you the angle. But what are you going to do with that?
Measures the
Yeah.
height of the tree or the mountain.
How would that work?
You aim it.
You aim it up and it gives you the angle.
Yeah.
And then you would have to measure across the bottom and you'd have to use some trigonometry. Does that sound possible for people?
no.
I have had a group who have done that once, who have said, look, we look through here and you'd have to put that on the ground and then you'd have to measure up at that angle and you have to measure how far you are away from the tree, and because you've already got a length and you've got an angle,
Yeah.
you could find the exact height of the tree. if you use your SoCar tower.
Yeah.
You could use that if you wanted.
My
So,
phone, my
the
phone has
easy-
a balance bin.
the easier way is to do what? Estimate. Climb the tree. So if you're someone who wants to climb a tree with a tape measure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
or if you just want to estimate, is that going to make your results valid? Make them okay, but it's not going to make it perfect, is it?
Isn't it just like you just have to write in the thing that this could be inaccurate because and then still pass?
Perfect. You can still pass with this. And in fact, in task 4, sorry, task 5, it says 2 strengths and weaknesses. So by having an estimate, you've actually set yourself up with the weakness already. So this is good. Having a problem is good, as we know. Okay, what else can we measure at the moment?
No.
No, what else haven't we measured yet? We've got vegetation, climate, what else?
Soil.
How can we measure soil?
Put
Put a stick, you said it, Anna, perfect. Put a stick in the ground and see how far down it can go, and then use a...
Measuring tape.
Ruler.
Measuring ruler. Measuring ruler.
a
Yes, measuring ruler.
And we could use a measuring ruler to see how deep it is.
I missed her.
Okay, so we've got a measuring ruler, so that's how we can measure soil, eh? And what's that called? What's that called, the thing that you're measuring there? It begins with an H. Did you cover much of that? What was the humus layer? Did you have that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Humus.
So in other words, with your pen, like, don't force it down into the ground and go, oh, look, everything's the same, eh? You're going to have to see how thin the soil is. And you could probably think of what's going to happen to the soil as you go up the mountain.
Get more thin.
Okay.
So it's gonna
Yeah. Zang. But we're not telling you the patterns because that would be kind of cheating a little bit.
Come on.
And the last one is what?
Wait, what's the middle one? Yeah.
Use a measuring stick and use a measuring ruler to check that. So poke a stick in and then see how far it is, how far the humus layer is.
I missed them.
And how could you measure relief? Or the height or the shape of the land?
What are those things with the, I don't know what they're called.
You could either use one of these.
Balancing baby thing.
You could use one of these and you could measure the angle of the... You by putting this on the ground, you can measure the angle. You could do that if you wanted to. That's fine, that would give you that. Relief is the height of the land too, eh?
Yeah.
So how are we going to find out the height of the land?
topo map.
Yeah, topo
Yes.
maps. Sir has topo maps, so what do you think we're going to have to do?
Toco.
Topo.
Topographical
stuff.
Top of me.
So you're going to have to work out from the topo maps exactly where we are and
Is that the contour line?
count with the contour lines.
Oh.
I think your skills exam. Yeah.
And failing that, I have a watch that gives you the, not this one, but I've got a nerdy geography one I got for my 30th birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
That my folks gave me that tells you how high you are. Like if you're just like Snoop Dogg, man, I'm high.
Wow.
Do we estimate the height?
I did not endorse drug use.
Yeah. We'll edit that bit out.
Sorry?
Yeah, trigonometry. Or the estimates, or the someone's
Or vegetation. What else could you do for vegetation? There's a word. You could describe it, eh?
Describe.
Do you reckon you could just describe the vegetation?
Okay.
Now, if you're someone who's aiming for a really high mark, Marley,
No.
you don't have to do this to pass. So I'm not saying you have to do it. But what you could do is you could get out, you could measure yourself out a 1 metre square. And what do you reckon you could do in that 1 metre square?
Dig a hole.
Width of the...
You could say how much vegetation is in that 1 metre square, or what sort of vegetation is in that 1 metre square. That's called a transect. So if you want to do that for your vegetation, you can choose to do that. You won't need that to get an achieved. You've got more than enough to get you more than enough.
For that bit, could you relate the vegetation to the climate? Like if you were to say what vegetation is, what the vegetation there is in that 1 metre square, could you relate that to like climate or something?
Yeah. So when you come back, when you go back to the classroom, you would have 4 elements and you have measurements for those, and then what you'd need to do is think, okay, how do these 4 elements, what's happening with these things? And like you said, Tahu, you're already saying one of these things has happened. Does this have an impact on something else? So you don't have to do all that. You've got heaps of time in class to figure that out. So, what could be some geographic concepts? Can you remember any geographic concepts? They're called ideas on here, but they're concepts. Environment. So do you think we might see a different environment?
Yeah.
What's another geographic change? Are we going to see any change? Change? What else do you think we might see as we go up?
People.
Okay, we would see a climate, but that's part of our elements. There's some P ones. Patterns. Would we see a patterns?
Possibly.
Processes. Would a process cause the change?
Yeah.
Is there one interaction?
Write these words.
Yeah.
Write these words down.
So have we got 5 geographic concepts already? Patterns, processes, change, interaction and environment. It says there, how many do you need? 2.
We've got 5.
You've
Look at
got
that.
5.
Change, environment, pattern, process, and interactions.
Did you write them?
Yeah.
We write them.
Yeah. So when you go up there, when it comes to geographic concepts, you know which ones you could include in your research. And what do you expect to find? That's what we can't tell you. And the other bit we can't tell you either, but we were going to say this, is take one clipboard, okay? You don't have to write up all the information today.
Love clipboard.
So one person takes the clipboard up from your group, and they're the group recorder. So they're sitting there and they're writing things down. How many people in each group, sir?
Because we've missed a few, it's about 3.
Okay, so one person is
3
your
or 4.
writer, one person is your doer,
2 groups of 4.
and one person could be like, or 2 people could be your doers, but one of them could call out to your writer, eh? So only the writer in your group needs to take down the information. And the other people do everything for you. So you just say, what's the measurement for that? And they say, that's the measurement for this. And what's the measurement for that? That's the measurement for that. It's all pretty easy, eh?
Yeah.
So when I was at school, I was always the guy who liked to do stuff. I didn't like writing things down. But my handwriting's pretty messy. So what do you reckon you need to do in your group to get... What do you reckon you need to have in your group? One person in your group definitely needs to have this. A pen and a paper. And what would they have to have on the paper? This is perfect.
Information.
Name.
Words. How do we collect all our information in geography?
Write them down.
You'll write it down. Yeah, absolutely right. On a
Paper.
table.
Table.
So you're on table.
Draw a table.
Draw a table and answer question number 5. And then it's dessert time.
Yeah.
Cheer.
Okay, so question number 5, draw up a table, have a folder, and then put everyone's work in here, and then we're done. Sunday school is over.
Perfect. Pause, sir?
Yeah.